So I have a few things to talk about today in the aftermath of the bombing of the headquarters of Hezbollah in Lebanon, and I picked up on a couple of videos. The next one my cousin sent to me, but this one this morning got my attention, and I want to go ahead. What I want you to do is to read. We'll go ahead and blow this thing up a little bit. The IRGC commanders were present. How many floors deep was the meeting room in which Hassan Nasrallah IRG commanders were present? And there's some bullet points he has here: to demolish the surrounding roads, pathways extending around these buildings. That was the Israeli plan. The bombs were also used to block all escape routes from their basements. Israelis claim it was a high-level meeting involving the top brass of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard overseeing operations in Syria, Lebanon, and Hamas, along with senior military-style commanders of Hezbollah. Hamas representatives and Hassan Nasrallah held 14 floors down. So the bunker busters that Israel used went 14 floors deep. Now, look at this. They were planning to invade Israel and launch attacks from multiple fronts, including Yemen, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and possibly Turkey. Well, that sounds like the Gog and Magog war being planned, doesn't it? Now you might say, well, wait a minute, Henry, you forgot to talk about Russia. No, I have never forgotten to talk about Russia. If you read carefully Ezekiel 38, you will see that Gog of the land of Magog is a guard to these people. Okay? Watches over them. Supplies them military equipment. Directs traffic, maybe even from afar. Okay? Let me go ahead and play this a little bit, and then I'll go to the next video.
Around these buildings, the bombs were also used to block all escape routes from their basements. Israelis claim it was a high-level meeting between a group of commanders of the IRGC who are overseeing operations in Syria, Lebanon, and in Hamas, along with senior military commanders of Hezbollah, along with Hassan Nasrallah. And the meeting was being held 14 floors below the ground, which means the claim here that it can penetrate up to 30 meters is false. 30 meters doesn't get you down to 14th floor below the ground. So this is probably a conservative estimate. It went a lot further. They were planning to invade Israel and launch attacks from multiple fronts, including Yemen, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and possibly Turkey. Turkey's role also is now coming to the picture. The Israelis buried all of them together.
Israelis buried all of them together. Now, somebody at the Vatican got very, very upset about this. Let's go and check that video out. I believe this is an Israeli fellow reporting on.
Israel just started Operation Northern Arrows and is now working around the clock to erase the terrorist organization of Hezbollah from the face of the earth. You would think that the world would be happy that Israel is destroying evil, right? Well, unfortunately not. 12 countries are now calling for a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. Yes, they're saying Lebanon and not Hezbollah, as if Israel was at war with Lebanon. Guys, we're diving into all of this and more here on today's show, so stay tuned. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. As you probably already know, Israel started Operation Northern Arrows last week with an epic mission, blowing up thousands of Hezbollah pagers that incapacitated at least 1,500 terrorists. They also took out multiple top commanders, including the commander of Radwan, Hezbollah's special forces, trained to infiltrate Israeli territory, and they also took out the number 2 Hezbollah commander overall. Also, just striking thousands of Hezbollah targets, bombing northern Lebanon like crazy. Well, unfortunately, not everyone is liking what Israel is doing in Lebanon, even though Israel goes above and beyond to avoid civilian casualties by literally dropping thousands of leaflets before bombing, so not just warning civilians, but also terrorists in the process, sending text messages and making phone calls to Lebanese civilians. Also just doing insanely precise strikes, like what they did to the pagers and backup walkie-talkies, for example. People all over the world, all over the internet, are condemning Israel, from Rashida Tlaib, I mean, honestly, I guess you would kind of expect that at this point, to the Pope. The Pope said this on Twitter, X, said, quote, "I am saddened by the news coming from Lebanon about bombings, death, and destruction. May the international community make every effort to stop this terrible escalation. It is unacceptable. I express my solidarity with the Lebanese people who have already suffered too."
So, as you can see, Satan, the man at the Vatican, has sided with the terrorists. He is sad because the people who were planning the invasion of Israel from multiple fronts, who were planning the Gog-Magog war, were buried, were destroyed. His plan was thwarted. He's expressing his solidarity not with the Lebanese people, because the Lebanese people are not who Israel is at war against yet. It is Hezbollah and the planners of the future Gog and Magog war that he expressed solidarity with. Now, here's what he said: "May the international community make every effort to stop this terrible escalation." Translation: all of his minions unite against Israel to stop the kingdom of Israel from rising in Jerusalem. Because you see, when the kingdom of Israel arises in Jerusalem, this man's kingdom will be no more. He will be cast out like the serpent that he is. Okay? So, what I want to do, folks, is I need everybody. Okay. Even I have maybe implied that the Gog-Magog war is next, which leads to the 6th shofar sound. I have even said a case can be made. Now, just because a case can be made, it does not mean that that would be accurate. What I was trying to say is, beware, be careful, because the 5th shofar sound may have already happened. We don't know. We don't know for sure. I mean, a case could be made concerning the what do you call that? Wow. So if we go into the fifth shofar sound, let's just go and start reading it. And the fifth messenger sounded, and I saw a star fall from the sky and unto the earth, and to him was given power, or given key to the abyssos. See that? Abyssos. What is the abyssos? It is the Mediterranean Sea. Who was given power over the Mediterranean Sea and the key to the Mediterranean Sea? It was the Romans. Let me go turn this thing off real quick. I keep forgetting. It was the Romans, or the king of Rome, that has the key to the abyssos. And he opened up the abyssos, and there arose a smoke from the well, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the abyssos, or of the well. And it came out smoke locusts upon the earth. Remember, this is a vision that Yohanan was observing. And unto them was given great power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded that they hurt not the grass of the earth, neither any green thing. Well, locusts, that's what they harm. Grass and every green thing. But clearly these appear to be locusts, but they are not locusts. Now, they appeared to be locusts because he goes on to clarify, to explain. They were given power like scorpions have power. And what is the power of a scorpion? It is in their sting. What does the scorpion sting do? Well, it can cause paralysis, temporary paralysis, or worse. And it is like a nerve agent. That was the word that I was looking for. So, back in the Korean War and in Vietnam, accusations were made that the British and the American military were using nerve agents against the enemy. That was the reason why I said a case could be made that may have already happened. But one thing that I want to warn you about is, equally, a case can be made that it has not happened yet. So, it was commanded they hurt not the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which do not have the seal of Jehovah, not God, in their foreheads. Now, some will say that that means only the 144,000 that is written in Revelation. Let me go look. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So, Revelation 8, verse 1. And he had opened up the seventh seal, and there was silence in the sky about the space of half an hour, and I saw the... Where is it? Nope, I wanted to get... Okay. So this is Revelation 7, I should say. Verse 1. And after these things I saw four messengers standing on the four quadrants of the earth, north, south, east, and west, holding the four winds from the earth. The wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another messenger ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim, and he cried with a loud voice to the four messengers to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, until we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which was sealed. It says 144,000 sealed right here. And it says right here the number, and it specifically says of each tribe were sealed, 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 sealed. Now, so the question is, there is a great multitude that was gathered out of all the Gentiles that no man could number. Now, they gathered from all the Gentiles. Who is going to be gathered from all the Gentiles? Deuteronomy 30. In the book of Moshe, in the Torah, says it will be all Israel that is gathered from the Gentiles. Okay? Maybe we should go read that. So you think that those are Gentiles that are going to be gathered from the Gentiles. Well, there's going to be a few among them. But let's see what Moshe has to say about this. See, folks, if you want to know the truth, you have to get context in the Torah and the prophets. And it shall come to pass that all these things shall come upon you, the blessing and the curse. Remember yesterday I was talking about how the Moshiach would be the falling and the rising again of many in Israel. Showed you the scriptures to prove it. Well, Deuteronomy 28, 29, and 30. 27 might be involved in it too. Talks about the blessings first and then the cursing. You can go to Deuteronomy 29. Let's see. So you got the blessings of obedience. This is the rising of Israel. And then the cursing of disobedience, which is the fall of Israel. Cursing, vexation, and rebuke. Jehovah will cause you to be smitten before your enemies, and they were. And it talks about how they're going to be carried away into the land of the Gentiles. Okay? But we go to chapter 30. So you have the blessings and the cursings and the blessing. The rise, the fall, and the rise of Israel once again. The blessing and the curse which I have set before you. You will return in your mind, in your inner heart, while you are among the Gentiles, where Jehovah, not the Lord, Jehovah Elohim has driven you. And why don't I say Lord God? Because to use another name, an inferior title, in place of his name, is taking his name in vain, and it is blasphemous. And you shall then return to Jehovah Elohim, and you shall obey his voice according to all I have commanded you. So he's going to gather them out of all the Gentiles. It says so right here. And you will obey his voice as I command you this day, you and your children, with all of your heart and with all of your soul. It doesn't say if. There's no ifs here. It says you will. And it tells you why and how they will. Jehovah Elohim will return your captivity, your captives, and have compassion upon you, and he will return and gather you from all the Gentiles where Jehovah Elohim has scattered you. And if any of you be driven in the utmost parts of the sky, or the compass. What does this mean? It means the horizon. And some were scattered literally in the sky to the United States of America, many to escape Europe. He's going to gather them from all the Gentiles where Jehovah has scattered you. And if any of you be driven into utmost parts of the sky, from there will Jehovah Elohim fetch you. And from there he will bring you, and Jehovah Elohim will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it, and he will do you well, and multiply you above your forefathers. Now, how is he going to do this? But you Christians, you claim that Israel refuses to repent, and therefore they are rejected forever. You are the one who refuses to repent, and therefore you will receive the reward that comes out of your mouth. You will be rejected forever because you reject the words of Jehovah in the book of Moshe right here, and Jehovah Elohim will circumcise your heart. That takes a miracle. And you Christians who claim that you are spiritual Israel and that Israel has been rejected, you are uncircumcised of the heart, and you will be rejected. And the heart of your seed to love Jehovah Elohim with all of your heart, with all of their soul. They're not able to do that on their own. He is going to circumcise Israel's heart so that they will be able to do this, and that you may live. And Jehovah Elohim will put all these curses upon your enemies. You know, the head of Christianity today, the one at the Vatican, calling upon all the nations of the earth to stop Israel from taking the mandate and running with the mandate of Yoel 3. He's telling the world to stop Israel. But he shall not succeed, because the word of Jehovah trumps the word of Satan in the great abyss. Oh, let's go back to Revelation 9. And to them it was given that they should not kill, but they should be tormented 5 months. Who? The ones that don't have the seal of Jehovah in their forehead. So you say only the 144,000 have the seal of Jehovah in their forehead, then how do you explain this? He said that they're right here. And you shall return in your mind and in your inner heart while you are among the Gentiles. Do they have the seal of Jehovah or not? I ask you. I'll let you figure that one out on your own. And to them, that they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as a torment of a scorpion. Okay. Scorpion sting. Like a nerve agent. Let's see if I can pull it up that way. Okay, so when a scorpion stings, its stinger can release venom. The venom contains a complex mix of toxins that affects the nervous system. This is very, very, very important to understand. The nervous system. It is effectively and essentially a nerve agent. Well, that ought to get your attention. Now, as you know, your governments have come up with all kinds of weapon agents. Some you know about and some you do not know about. And if you think that the governments are going to let you know about the agents, including nerve agents that they have stockpiled, then you're delusional. They're not going to let you know everything. Now, I want to play a little bit of this three-letter agency's whistleblower. I'm not going to play the whole thing because he talked a lot of nonsense in some of it, but this part right here I want to play for you.
Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times.
Okay, so he said during the Great Depression, the people stocked up their pantries. Let me turn this up a little bit.
Make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. As a person of faith, I'd say pray.
So he said, let me go back a little bit and let's play it again.
And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times, and make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food.
So he said, and he was talking about three-letter agencies being unchecked and out of control, and he's warning the American people to have 3 to 4 months of food supply ready. Why is he doing this? Because he knows something that you don't. And the three-letter agencies do not want you to know what he's telling you here. So he's saying have 3 to 4 months supply of food. Think the Great Depression. All right, so what I'm going to tell you, not 3 to 4 months, but 5 months of food. You see, folks, this is going to occur, this is going to take place for 5 months. We've been given a timeline, 5 months, so have 5 months supply of food ready. Well, how am I going to get 5 months of supply of food? Why haven't you done it already? Do you not know? Have you not known that these things are going to happen? Can't you see these things? Apparently not, because you see, we just saw a hurricane come up through Florida, the panhandle of Florida, up through Atlanta, and up through the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina. I live in North Carolina. I don't live near the mountains, but I knew it was coming. I saw it coming. How is it that people did not see this coming? How is it that people in the mountains did not see this coming, and now there are 1,000 people unaccounted for? How could this have happened? Same thing that I say about what's coming probably this winter. How can you not know what's about to happen? Yet, the vast majority of people will not be ready for what's about to happen. So I'm telling you, have at least 5 months of food, because this particular situation is going to occur, take place for 5 months. The torment will be for 5 months. Then is the torment of a scorpion when he strikes a man. So it is a nerve agent. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall... Why would the governments of the earth do this? Well, it says, in the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared for battle. Well, that might make sense to those who lived back in his day, but probably not right now. And on their head, as it were, like resembling a crown of gold. And their faces were as the faces of men. And they had a hair as the hair of a woman, and their teeth were as teeth of lions. Now that right there ought to give you pause. And they had breastplates as the breastplates of iron. So, So breastplates of iron. So now we know it's military equipment that can fly. And the sound of their wings was the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. Well, we know what that is. That's a helicopter. Proof it's a helicopter. And they had tails like scorpion. Now, King James Version messed this one up here. And King James Version says, and there were stings in their tails. No, that's not what it says. It says a sharp point on their tail. Now you know it's a helicopter. Well, helicopters do two things for the military. Spray bullets. Well, missiles are bullets too, to be honest. But to spray other things as well. Like a nerve agent. Why do you suppose that the governments of this world are going to have to spray nerve agents? Well, to find out, you'll have to go to Daniel 2. Watch this. I believe it's Daniel 2. Go to 45, or somewhere around about there. Maybe we'll start at 42. Always use Strong's Concordance, folks. Because if you don't, King James Version will lead you astray. Every single time. Okay. Verse 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. That would be Rome. For as much as iron breaks or shatters and shatters, as iron shatters, all of these shall it break into pieces. But so all the other kingdoms before him, all the other kingdoms before the Roman one, it will be shattered into pieces by the kingdom of iron. And then you saw the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron. The kingdom shall be divided, and it is divided. Currently it is the Byzantines and Rome. You don't know? The Byzantium, Rome was moved to Byzantium, Asia Minor, by Constantine. You should do your history research. So it was divided And during the Crusades is when the Great Division occurred. And it shall be the strength of iron, forasmuch as you saw the iron mixed with miry clay. Now when you get to the toes, that's even later, the last part of the kingdom. That would be now. Of the feet were part of iron and part of clay. So the kingdom was partly strong and partly broken. And whereas you saw the iron mixed with miry clay. Now, it implies they shall mingle themselves with seed of men. It does not actually say it. But when you read this part down here, is iron does not mix with clay. That is proof that for once King James Version got it right. What it says is, when you saw the iron mixed with miry clay, it shall come to pass that the seed of men shall not cleave to one another, because iron is not mixed with clay. Why all this is going on? I'm sure you're smart enough to read, to understand that civil unrest will be the result. Civil unrest will be the result of Europe and the United States bringing in immigrants from all these countries trying to mix miry clay with iron. Why would they do this? To weaken opposition. That's why. And it will cause civil unrest. And they will have to use some sort of nerve agent to hold on to their power. Do you have 5 months' supply of food ready? Why not? Well, Henry, where can I get it? Webstaurantstore.com. Nope. They are not sponsoring this video. I do not get paid by them. I don't get paid by anybody to do this, to do these videos. If you want it fast, Webstaurantstore.com. You know how to calculate how much beans and rice you need. Oh, and they say you have to have a company name. Just make one up, and they'll accept it. Now, folks, you need to realize that there is a ship workers strike on the entire East Coast starting tomorrow. Might be too late. Have you thought about clothes? Do you have a supply of clothing? A lot of you who don't have a supply of clothing, don't have a supply of food, you went and purchased your brand new iPhone 16 and waiting with bated breath to get it. But you have not purchased your supplies for what's coming. That brings me to Matityahu. Is it 24 or 25? 24, I do believe. No, 25. Verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be like unto 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. The 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. And those that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. They were not prepared. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. They carried an extra vessel with their lamp. The 5 foolish did not see the need to carry an extra vessel with their lamp. Why is that? It was because they had, how do I say this, confidence where they stood, or in the society that they were living. However you want to look at it. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And in the midst, does not say at midnight. You could imply that it was at midnight, but that's not what it says. It says in the middle, in the midst, there was a cry made. Behold, the bridegroom comes, go you out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are run out, are gone out. They were not prepared. Because during this event is when all these catastrophes take place. The wise answered, saying, not so, lest there not be enough for us and you, but you go rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Well, I'm telling you to buy for yourselves before you need it. Don't wait until you need it, until you're out. You, listen, you have got a timeline here. 5 months. 5 months. Get 5 months supply of food and clothing. You had an FBI agent tell you, imply to you what's about to happen. Why aren't you listening? Why aren't you paying attention? Okay? And so, to get the point across, and while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready, those that who were prepared. Preparation, 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 folks. I cannot stress enough to you how much is necessary to prepare. Those who were prepared went with him to the marriage, and the door was shut, and afterward all the other virgins came and said, Master, Master, open to us. But he answered and said, verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, because you do not know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes. But you do have all these other signs beforehand. I just showed you plenty of them today, how Israel just thwarted a meeting to prepare for the Gog-Magog war. And most wouldn't even have seen that video. How many? He's got close to 600,000 subscribers. And I don't know how many people watched the video. But compared to the rest of the world, that's not a lot. But he just casually pointed it out. Never made the distinction. Never made the connection. But I'm telling you, that's exactly what Israel thwarted. A meeting about the Gog and Magog war. What are you going to do now? Are you going to prepare or not? Well, that's your decision is on you. I hope you make the right decision.